There's a human need to protect children and to care for children. But the fact of the matter is she's still a child herself. She's barely 20. You don't stop becoming a child when you turn 18. It's a tragic situation, and she's incredibly sad.
As Maya Hernandez's defense attorney continues fighting for her both inside and outside of the courtroom, as you saw, a new shocking revelation could tip the scales of justice in the young mother's case. So let's talk about this. Court's going to start up later today, but we learned something new when court was last in session from a spa employee who testified that the defendant was not getting lip filler on the day in question, the day that her one-year-old son died in her hot car. No, that witness from the spa told the jury that she was undergoing a liquid Brazilian butt lift instead. Yes, you heard me right, a liquid Brazilian butt lift. Text messages reveal that Hernandez asked another employee if she could bring her kiddos in to the spa for this to happen. The employee said sure, as long as they stayed in the waiting room. Prosecutors also played a second interview with the defendant after she was arrested, where she got emotional, saying, "It's not like I left them in there just to die and only left the kids because they were sleeping." She left them with the air conditioning on, so that's important to know. But what it seems that she didn't realize, with the air conditioning automatically shuts off after a certain point in time. One of her children died. The other one, thank goodness, survived and is in the custody of the state. Now, as this trial rolls on, we understand the prosecution has one more witness to call. Closings are expected to happen tomorrow. So we're wondering, do this woman's actions amount to second-degree murder? And do the facts about the Brazilian butt lift rather than lip filler really change anything? Let's bring back in Mario Gallucci and Manuel Gomez to talk about this. Mario, from a legal standpoint, does this make much of a difference for either side what the procedure was?
I don't think so, but you know, these cases are just horrible. I mean, it's a tragedy. And the defense attorney said something very interesting in a statement. You know, she's only 20 years old. You know, just because you're over 18 doesn't mean that you're an adult. So what he's trying to say here is, you know, she made very tragic decisions, but you still have to remember she's still a child herself. I'm not excusing her behavior whatsoever, but you know, they need to prove for the second degree murder, they need to prove intent. I don't think she intentionally left the children in there to die and the other one to get severe injury, but I mean, they basically conceded the manslaughter here already, and the child endangerment. So, you know, to go, you know, lip filler or butt filler, you know, that doesn't really matter. It shows that she's very vain, so vain that she left her children in the car even after she was told she could bring them into the facility. So it's look, this is a sad, tragic case, and it's everybody loses here, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is awful. Yeah, Mario, it's awful. No matter which, you know, part of her body she's getting filled, you know, she had everything at the time. This is what's so sad about this. She had everything. Two beautiful, healthy boys. And look, like, I'm not judging. She wants to, you know, go do whatever she wants to do in the med spa. Sure. Get your kids a babysitter, though. Get your kids a babysitter. If you can pay the money it costs to have lip filler, butt filler, whatever kind of filler you're having, you can pay a sitter. So that's where I struggle, because you know what, Manuel, I think about this, and I get that she didn't foresee the car shutting off. She obviously didn't realize that. However, what about a kidnapping? You leave two beautiful babies in an unlocked running car in the back seat. Manuel, the safety of those kids, would you speak to that?
Well, I want to say the safety of those kids, she knew that the act she was committing, if she didn't put the air conditioner on, she could have killed those children. This is why she put the air conditioner on and set it to 60 degrees, because she knew the temperature was so hot. So finding her guilty of second-degree murder, Julie, is going to be a no-brainer for me, for the jury. Because, again, you have to have the intent to know that the act you're committing is going to kill someone, and you commit the act anyway. She knew that if she didn't leave that AC on, those kids were going to die. Second-degree murder, slam dunk right there. But more importantly, Julie, the clinic is responsible because the clinic should have required her to have a designated driver to drive her home. She was going under a surgical procedure. She was going to be medicated. This tells me the clinic she was at, Julie, was some kind of sham place. And I've seen cases like this, like in New York and Goals, that have had numerous women die because of the procedures done there. This clinic should be ashamed that they didn't require someone to pick her up, because those children would be alive right now.
Manuel, appreciate it. You know, and I'm still thrown for a loop. I have to say, I think my whole team is, about how we thought this was the lip filler. I have no idea how that fact was gotten wrong, and suddenly this revelation came on Friday that it was a Brazilian liquid butt lift going on. Mario, I'm thinking about this, and we'll have to have our friend Dr. Craig Ozer, the plastic surgeon, back up, because we were picking his brain before about how lip filler, you know, it's an extended procedure. It's not like it happens in an instant and you're right back in your car. I can't imagine what butt filler, I mean, I would think that's a bigger area to fill, so probably more filler going in, more time injecting. Mario, does that help prosecutors maybe if she knew the time wasn't going to be quick?
So, you know, I'm not an expert in butt filler, and this is probably the first time I've ever discussed a butt fill. But, you
First
know,
time for everything, Mario.
Yes,
That's why we
yes.
love having you
So, but the prosecution in this case, yes, absolutely. I mean, this woman is so vain. She's 20 years old. What is there to fill in a 20-year-old woman at this point? And you know, lip filler, butt filler. She just only looking at herself and caring about herself, and to the detriment of her children. And that's exactly what the prosecution is doing here. They're saying, look, she left 2 kids in the car so she could make herself look better. And at 20 years old, how much more better do you need to look? So yes, this is absolutely, you know, prosecution's going to run with this, run with that.
Yeah, I would think so. We need to do more digging here, because the closings are going to happen tomorrow. And so everybody knows, our cameras were excluded. The judge had a court order in place where we can't show the evidence. You know, we can show the opening statements, the closing arguments, we can cover the verdict. How I wish we could see all this testimony. Manuel, tell me, you know, in terms of that other child in the custody of the state, we only have about 10 seconds. I would think that that other child, once he learns what happened to his brother, is going to have a tough time later in life.
Unfortunately, I think this child's going to be damaged, and I pray to God that one good family member raises him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think this mother's going to be in jail for at least 25 years.
You know, that's a solid prediction. We'll watch the closings together live tomorrow when we're allowed to film. Great discussion with you both. We'll keep digging into the butt filler, no longer the lip filler at issue in this case. Mario Gallucci, Manuel Gomez, always a delight to have you both on this show. Thank you so much.